SteelSeries finally updated their QCK mouse pads with the new QCK performance pads. And as you see, they have three different variations, one for speed, one for balance, and one for control. One being a large at 490 by 420, and then also an extra large desk mat size at 900 by 400. And I've been using these mouse pads for a few weeks now, so let me share my experience with you. Now these pads will also come in a pretty big box rolled around a pretty thick cylinder in between them, so it's really nice. When you take them right out of the box, put them on your desk, they're going to lay flat within minutes. They're not going to be curled up on one side or the other like we've seen in many other pads that are rolled in a very small box just to, again, save shelf space. And I did also talk with SteelSeries on why they aren't in just a flat box as we see from a lot of manufacturers now. Well, we know SteelSeries is in like Best Buys, Walmarts, Micro Centers, all sorts of retail space, right? And a flat mouse pad, well, number one, you can't see it on a shelf, and then it takes up a whole lot more space, right? But I love what they did right here. Again, they still put them in a big box with that big cylinder around it. So again, they're pretty much instantly within a couple minutes laying flat on your desk. So I understand what they did right here, and I love the steps they took to still make it work out even though it's not in a flat box. So good job, SteelSeries. Now, one of my many favorite improvements on the new QCK pads compared to the old QCK is the stitching on these new pads. It is extremely tight and very low profile. If you're one to sling your mouse pad to the edge or again rest your wrist on your mouse pad, you're not going to feel that stitching raised over these. With my extensive use here, I haven't experienced any fraying or any fuzzing along this stitching. Now, if you're like me and you like your setups to match, these little tabs on the side of the pad stating speed, control, or balance might throw off your setup a little bit, but luckily they're actually stitched underneath the pad, so heck, just cut them off, bam, and they are gone. They're not going to interfere with any of the pad being raised up on one side or anything. Just again, cut it off and it's gone. Now on the underside of all these mouse pads, they are using a neoprene base. And I'll tell you what, when you put these down on your surface, they do stick pretty good. Now, if you got a light press, they will budge around slightly. But once you get your keyboard and mouse and you actually start gaming with it, they don't budge whatsoever. But they are a little bit different than, say, a pour-on base like we're used to with the Lethal Gaming Gear, or say an Artisan mouse pad. When you just stick them down, like you almost got to peel those suckers up, you know? You don't get that effect right here, at least for me using it on a wood surface. But I will tell you, again, once you actually start gaming with it and you get it put down, it is very sticky and it doesn't move around on you. Now, I want to mention one thing that I noticed, again, with my previous main pad being the Pulsar and Lethal Gaming Gear here with that pour-on base, and then coming over testing the SteelSeries ones here. I kind of noticed those little micro, like gel type of movements, almost like you're floating across it, but if you press a little bit firmer like myself, you kind of felt it, again, jiving or gelling to the left or right, whichever way you're going. Over here with the neoprene brace, I don't want to say it's firm because, again, you do got some density within it right there, but again, it felt very accurate no matter where I was pressing. When I come over to this one, I felt it like almost mushed down to the left or right depending on where I was pressing. Again, that was just an experience I had coming from my main pad being pour-on and then over here to the new neoprene SteelSeries. And going right in line with that, I want to talk about the performance and feel of these mouse pads, but first I want to show you the mouse pads on a slight incline on a table here, and then my main mouse being the Pulsar X-Lite V4 going down them, so you can see the difference from the speed, the control, and the balance there. It goes right in line with the texture. When you look at like the speed, you kind of got like that silky material. The control or the balance is kind of that middle ground, right, of both of them, and then the control is definitely kind of got that hybrid where you see the threads really within it, right? But I want to talk more about my time using them with the performance, and it was really shocking, right? I want to first talk about the speed, where I'm not a speed pad. I'm a balanced control type of pad, right? But using the speed one, it's clear as day, the fastest for sure, and you just feel it kind of float and glide across the pad. But I still noticed a little bit of stopping power. It wasn't like lost like using a glass pad or something like that, or one of those plastic pads. I still felt myself having a little bit of control, right? So the speed pad really shocked me. I was like, okay, this is going to be the one I'm going to hate. Like, I am not going to be able to use this. But shockingly, I had a pretty darn good time with it, right? And going right, flipping that around to the control pad, right? Which they call the control, you know, where you're going to be able to lock your shots in, maybe for a sniper, be able to really balance it right there, you know? And I'll tell you what, the control pad, I'm going to class it more as a mud pad, right? Like if you like those super duper slow pads, that is what the control pad is for sure. And that's the one I didn't like. I thought it was gonna be completely opposite. I was like, okay, I'm gonna love the control, I'm gonna hate the speed. Well, it's completely opposite. I hate the control and I really enjoy the speed. Because no joke, the control pad is muddy. Like if you like that to really just stick, like wherever you go, bam, and it stops, that's what you're gonna get with the control. Like I run at, I think like a 1400 DPI, maybe even 1600 DPI right now. And I felt like I had to increase my DPI. Like no matter where I went, bam, it stopped. I'm almost like, okay, no, let me pull it over a little bit more, you know? Like, oh my gosh, that needs to be called the mud pad, like seriously. And now talking about the balanced pad, which was my all-around favorite, because again, it was that middle ground. It really was right there. You get that control, but you get a little bit of speed. It's still pretty comfortable. It's not like silky or it's not rough. It's really right in between right there. And I really enjoyed it. Again, it brought me right back to my tried and true kind of control pads, which threw me off a little bit, right? Because their control pad is, again, what I would class as a mud pad, and the balanced I would put as a control pad, right? You just got to follow their words right there. So think of control as very slow, the balanced kind of that in between, and the speed obviously is the speed. But with the balanced pad, it was just put me right at home with the traditional control pad. I really liked it. Again, I still had stopping power. I had a little bit of speed. It didn't lag me or slow me down. I didn't feel myself sinking into it. The balanced is that nice middle ground I think a lot of us are going to get down with. And a really cool thing here that SteelSeries forwarded me, which I'm not really a big fan of marketing material or fluff sales pitches or anything like that, you know, but I thought this was really cool because this came after some of my testing, right? And I'm over here like, man, I really love this balance, but it seems like people are gonna like the speed or the control. I'm like, maybe I'm just the average Joe that just likes the middle of the ground, right? But anyways, they sent this to me talking about the, what was it, FaZe doing the Rainbow Six Invitational, which I don't watch esports. But anyways, what they're saying here is Cyber and then Handy, they were using the balanced pad and talking about how it, again, helped them out with the balance, reacting to shots and such like that. So it was really cool because, again, I was thinking, well, the balance is going to be the middle of ground that not many people are going to get down with. I just like the average Joe type of mouse pad. But when you're hearing pros having the same results that I had, like after my testing, like I'm not reading that and then testing it and going off that. This is after my testing, and then I got that from SteelSeries. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. It really puts my test really into facts right there, you know, showing proof about what I'm saying, which was really cool result. So summarizing up the new SteelSeries QCK mouse pads here, again, the control is clear as day a mud pad. It's a slow pad. You have that stop and power and that control there without a doubt. The balance pad, I think, is going to be the one a lot of us are going to get down with. It's that middle ground. You got speed, you got control. It's not too fast. It's not too slow. It's really balanced, right? And then as far as the speed pad, really took me by surprise. Yes, it is the fastest out of the bunch, but it's not uncontrollably fast like, again, a glass mouse pad or something. It's a really nice, fun speed pad for sure. Really took me by surprise. And again, I love what SteelSeries did here. The balanced one will be staying on my desk for sure. Now, if you got any more questions about any of these mouse pads, please ask right down in the comments. Definitely glad to talk shop, and I hope this video was able to help you out. And if it was, please hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I hope I catch you in the next one. Bye now.